I'd like to introduce Cynthia and Christina's outside, and they're going to do a skit for you. Pay close attention. This is an interview. Cynthia is the interviewer, and Christina is the person being interviewed. So just pay close attention and tell me what you see afterwards. Okay? Here we go.
Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet to go over everything.
They say time's supposed to heal ya, but I haven't done much healing.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
I only call you when it's 5:30.
The only time that I'd ever call you mine.
I know when that hotline blinked, it could only mean one thing.
What do you mean?
When you nod your head yes, but you want to say no.
What do you mean?
You don't want me to move, but you tell me to go.
What do you mean?
It don't matter. Clearly, it doesn't tear you apart anymore.
Thanks. Good job. You can take your seats back. Okay. So obviously we all heard what they said, and it was a little different. But what were some other things that you saw Christina do that were a little strange? Anybody? Chase.
She was kind of slouching.
Slouching? Okay. Anybody else? How about when she walked in? Did she do anything odd when she shook Cynthia's hand? Did you notice anything on her hand? The rings. Okay. And what about when they were talking? What did Christina keep doing? She kept nodding. And it was just kind of weird how they were talking, and Christina was doing all these strange things when they were supposed to do an interview. So although you all got that what they were saying was weird and didn't make sense, you still saw the things that Christina was doing and her nonverbal communication that made the communication different and strange. So I have a statistic for you from the New Zealand Herald. Body language is thought to account for between 50 to 80% of all communication. And that kind of backs up what I was saying, that even though the verbal part was strange, the behavior part was also strange. Today I'm going to tell you about 4 different aspects of nonverbal communication. Handshaking, when you sit down, when you speak, and how you say things, and reading the other person's body language. You can use these in an interview like we saw. You can use it in a normal conversation with your teachers or with anybody in your everyday life. And so I'm just going to tell you about body language and how to use it. So the first thing is handshaking. So when Christina walked in, she immediately shook her hand, which you don't do. First, you need to learn the person's name. And so Christina would have said her name and Cynthia would have said her name. And then they would have shaken hands. The reason is because if you shake hands while you say your name, you're going to forget the other person's name because you're doing something. Another thing was that Christina had on a bunch of jewelry, and that's just a big no-no. You're not supposed to do that. You just need to be very professional and not be too over-accessorized. The other thing was that you need to firmly shake hands. Christina just kept shaking her hand and wouldn't stop, and that's probably because of nervousness, and you just need to control your nervousness whenever you're in a conversation, especially an interview. And so the next thing will be sitting down. So you need to be invited to sit down. Not many people know that. So the person needs to invite you to sit down, and then you can sit down. You should always put your belongings on the floor beside you. Christina left all of her stuff in her lap, and what that does is it closes you off to the person you're talking to. So you always need to do that, and you need to sit towards the person with your shoulders open, so that your body language is telling the other person that that you want to learn something and that you're open to what they say. So now that we know those 2 things, we're going to move on to the speaking portion and how you say things during your conversation. So the first thing is that you need to talk slowly, and they did pretty good talking slowly, but most of us get nervous and we talk really fast. And it's just something that you need to be aware of so you can fix. The other thing is that you need to control your pitch. That also has to deal with nervousness. So you need to talk slowly and control your pitch, and just watch how you speak. You also need to avoid nodding. Christina just kept nodding through the whole thing. I actually have another statistic. Women, they nod to indicate that they are listening, not necessarily that they agree with what you're saying. But men, they nod only when they agree. So if Cynthia would have been a man and Christina would have been nodding the whole time, then Cynthia may have thought Christina was agreeing with everything she said, when in reality, Christina was only nodding to say that she was listening. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is how to read somebody else's body language. So if you're in an interview and the interviewers, they've got their arms crossed and they're checking their clock and they're looking at the door to see when they need to go, that's a bad sign. You need to change something about yourself and focus on what you're doing and how your body language may be coming across to someone else. If they're nodding and like mimicking your body language, those are good signs, and you need to keep doing whatever you're doing to when you're conversing with them. So we've learned today how to properly handshake, what to do when you sit down in an interview, how to control your speaking, and how to read someone else's body language. So using these techniques will make a great first impression in any interview, in any situation. Eventually, as you practice these techniques, you'll be able to use them in your daily life, in addition to formal settings. And I have a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. It says, "What you do speaks so loud, I cannot hear what you say." So I challenge you to focus on your body language and make your actions speak louder than words.